On today's 1-0 Sports Show, we recap what's trending in the sports world. We talk about UT's big matchup against Gonzaga, and we also talk about men's March Madness, last night's games, and the games coming up today. All that and more coming up on the 1-0 Sports Show.
We're going to have an exciting show. We're going to talk about the NFL divisional round and what we expect from it. We talk about Texas's inconsistent start in Big 12 play for men's basketball. We'll finish with some talk about our women's basketball team. So, we got a packed show today.
I got to go the other way.
Today's show is brought to you by Cat Metro, Austin Transit System. We connect you to work, school, play, and everywhere in between. Plan your ride to this weekend's game at catmetro.com. With that being said, we hop into another episode of the 1-0 Sports Show. I'm your host, Michael Alvarez. Joined alongside me is Stella Laitman. Stella, how you doing this morning?
I am great. So excited to be here. Let's get into it.
All right, so we're going to start the show how we always start the show. We're going to talk about who's hot and who's not. Who's hot for you this week?
For me, I had to go with Caitlin Clark. Just yesterday, she was invited to the Olympic camp before the Final Four, and she's actually the only college player that was included on this 14-person roster. She's truly inspiring for younger women who want to play professional basketball, and very hot right now.
Yeah, didn't she get an offer from Ice Cube for the big league
She
three?
Sure did.
For like $5 million. That was so like. The highest paid women's basketball player in the WNBA right now makes under $300,000, and she just got offered $5 million. So yeah, Caitlin Clark, I have to agree, is very hot right now for that. So for my who's hot, I got a couple of things I can throw at you. I can go with the Lakers. Obviously, that's always a great choice by me. Lakers are 9 games above 500. They're on a 5-game winning streak. They have a pretty easy remaining schedule. I mean, the West right now is pretty tough. It's pretty tough to watch. I mean, pretty tough to compete in because every team, besides outside the playoff picture, is pretty impressive. Especially that play-in bracket. You have the Lakers right now. You have a jump between the Warriors. You have the Mavs. You have the Kings. It's just it can go either way. And then I can also go with NC State, who won the ACC tournament. They dropped their last 4 regular season home games. They needed to win the tournament just to make the big dance. They won 5 games in a row, and then they've now won their first 2 games in the tournament. They are in one of my brackets to win it all, and I'm rocking with NC State. I like them boys. They're going to find a way to get it done. And then, so you can pick between either of those teams, but I'm going to throw all those teams out the window, and I'm going to talk to you about a real championship team. Now, this team had a plus 20 point differential margin in all their games. They were a 12 seed. They won all 5 of their games in the tournament, and they came back, and they are back-to-back intramural men's A-League basketball champions. And I, of course, am talking about my team, FBF Elite. Those boys know how to get it done. We're going for our 3-peat next year. I love this team. I love our energy. And that's my hot team for this week. And that's just me throwing it out there. Now, we are going to move on to who's not. So, Stella, who do you got for you?
So, I had to go with UNC. After their loss to 4-seed Alabama, I just think that their fire's gone. They're the first 1 seed out of the tournament, and I just had very high hopes for them going into this. They play great basketball, and I was pretty let down just seeing them go out so early. So that's my who's not.
Yeah, I had North Carolina at least making the Elite 8. That was a good game last night. Don't get me wrong, but you can't
let down by their performance. It's not great.
But I mean, they haven't been the same in a couple years since their last championship. So hopefully they're going to find a way to turn around. They remind me of Kentucky.
Hopefully.
But we're not going to talk about Kentucky right now. We'll get to Kentucky. We'll get to Kentucky when we talk about Kentucky. But for my who's not, I got to go with the UT men's baseball team. Now, they have been very disappointing this year. They just dropped their last game. They just dropped a home game to Texas A&M Corpus Christi 4-1 at Dish Falk Field.
Heartbreaking.
That was just they're 15-10 right now. I remember me and my father, we were talking about their Astro Trip Foundation where they're playing LSU, Vanderbilt, A&M, Tech State, all those games in a row. And we were thinking, if they can find a way to win 2-3 of those games, then I have faith in this team. They somehow dropped all 4 of those games, including a loss to Texas State, 11-10. That was a game I said they were sure going to win. So this team, I mean, they lost the season season series to Washington, which they shouldn't do, especially because they're playing all these games at Dish Falk. So that's for right now. Those are the team. That's the team that has been very disappointing to me. I mean, they go into a not too tough of a conference slate, but they are behind the ball right now. If they want any chance of making it back to Super Regionals, they're going to have to pick it up now, especially with next year going in the SEC, where I looked at the standings. They have, I think, 11 teams in the top 25, 6 in the top 10. Jesus Christ. So that's not going to be a fun transition. But, yeah, that's for my who's not this week. Now, moving on to what's trending. So recently, the NFL added a rule that they stole from the XFL, where they moved the kickoff. They moved up the kickoff. And so I'll explain a little bit what it is now. Right now, you have you kick off from the 35-yard line still. So the kicker still kicks from the 35-yard line. But you move up the receiving team to the 40-yard line, and they have at least 9 members of the return team will be between their 35 and their 30-yard line, which is called the setup zone. The ball will ideally drop between the 20-yard line and the goal line, called the landing zone, where the receiving team will have one or more likely 2 returners. If the ball lands in the end zone or goes out of the end zone, the resulting touchback will be spotted at the 30-yard line. So they moved up the touchback rule from 25 to 30. And if it's kicked out of bounds, it's going where it always was, the 40-yard line. Now, that's the new structure to it. Stella, what do you feel? How do you feel about that? What does that do?
Mike, I have a different take than you. I think that the NFL has not really changed anything too significantly in the past decade. I think change is good and necessary for the NFL to function. And at the end of the day, it's entertainment, you know? And I think that the new kickoff plays open up more opportunities for special teams, which I think will ultimately make the game more entertaining and exciting to watch. Whereas right now, it's just like it's been the same for so long, and I think change will be a good thing. So I kind of disagree. I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, you know, I have to agree with you on some point, but what happened in the game I love, man? Kickoffs. I mean,
it's still the game you love.
You can argue that you argue that a lot of injuries happen with those really fast head-on collisions on a kickoff because they're coming from so far away, and now they're trying to eliminate that. So it kind of defeats the returns, because I feel like it's going to be a lot harder to return now with the defense going to be right there in your face, kind of right when you touch the ball. But at the same time, you can put 2 people back there, and teams might just start flipping to their fastest players because it's more safe of an option to keep them out there, or a reduced chance of getting an injury. So you could see Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill return the ball for the Dolphins, and that would be something that could actually benefit their team and benefit the game. So honestly, I'm both ways on it. I understand the rule. I respect the rule. I got to see the rule in action before I can really say anything.
Totally. We got to see it in action before we draw any final conclusions.
Yeah, before I really give you an exact thing, I got to see it in action, but I'm not completely against it. Now, we'll move away from the new rules, and we'll hop into the MLB. With the opening day was yesterday, and obviously it's a long season. Who do you think will win it all this year? What team or what teams do you think can make it happen?
It's a hard choice. I'm gonna have to go with I'm gonna go with the Dodgers, just because I think they're a great team. They play great baseball, and they're just consistently good. I never feel like I have to watch the Dodgers and worry about their performance, because I think they'll always put on, play great baseball. But I don't know. I think it could go either way. You have great teams, like the Braves. I don't know. I'm gonna go with the Dodgers. That's my final answer.
All right, I got to agree with that. I can agree with that at some point, just because they also added generational talent, Shohei Ohtani. That was when I saw
He's amazing.
When I saw that happen, it was they're like the 2017 Golden State Warriors. That was the first thing I thought of. That was the comparison I thought of when I first saw the team.
He is a legend in the making, and I think that he can really, win it all for this Dodgers team.
Yeah, but I think the Dodgers are a great choice, and that would obviously be a favorite. They're favorited. They're plus 350 right now. They're the favorite team to win it all. But I don't care. We're gonna flip to what the dynasty that's still formed down in Houston. Those Astro boys. Now I like the Astros.
Yeah.
No, not the cheaters. Not the cheaters. Don't bring up cheaters. Don't bring up cheaters. No. The people are just mad. That was 7 years ago, and they've won a championship since then. So it's. It's not our fault. Yeah, sure, cheers.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to now it really depends on what Bregman and Altuve do in the free agency. I think Altuve stays, because I think he's just going to end his career there. Bregman might leave. Also, Yordan Alvarez and Altuve both got hurt last year, and it hurt their chances to be a higher seed in the ALS. But it all depends on this team can stay healthy. I mean, this team is dominant still. I still think this team. They've made the final in the last 7 years. and I think they're a team you can't just forget about. They're a favorite.
I'll give that to you.
I mean, yeah,
Give
they
it to
still
you.
have to go through the Dodgers if they want to make the World Series, and that's obviously going to be a challenge. But those would be my two picks right now for who could win it all this year. But that is all we have for this block. Don't go anywhere though. We'll be back for our verses with Ryan Hopper on to judge. You're not going to want to miss it coming up on the One and Only Sports Show. Good morning, welcome back to the One on Sports Show. I'm Michael Alvarez, joined alongside me is co-host Stella Laitman, and we are now joined by Ryan Hopper to come judge our plays of the week. Ryan, how you doing this morning?
I'm pretty good. Good to be back.
Oh yeah, I think we got some good plays for you, so we're gonna hop right into it. We have our B1, which is our best NBA play of the week. Stella, you can lead us off here.
So, not necessarily the best, but in my opinion, certainly the funniest and pretty cool to watch. OKC's Josh Giddey shot with his butt on the court. I thought this was insane, and it doesn't happen often, so I just thought this was great. Watch this.
Did he
Look
make
at
it?
this.
Oh, wow.
He made it though.
Wow.
So cool, and you never see something like that really. So I just thought it was pretty awesome.
As a defender, I'd be pretty mad that you
Totally.
play great defense all possession and then they shoot from sitting on the ground.
What can you do?
So no, that's a great play. And then moving on, obviously, I am a Bron fan, so any chance I can put LeBron on here, I will put LeBron on here. Now, in the Lakers' last win, LeBron dunked over Scottie Pippen Jr., which is another reason why LeBron's the GOAT. Scottie Pippen, great reason why Michael Jordan and the Bulls were successful, and now he's dunking over his son. But yeah, we'll just pull the clip up here. In the last win against the Grizzlies, he's defining his age of 39. His head is still above the rim. And here, you do a closer look right here. He's the greatest to ever do it. We all know that. But yeah, you'll get a closer look here. Still booms on his head. His head is still above the rim. His arm is almost completely above the rim. He's 39 years old, and Scottie Pippen Jr. I'm pretty sure is 20. That is 19 years difference, and he's still booming over him. So that's my play of the week. Ryan, who you got?
Okay, well, I thought after seeing the Josh Giddey highlight that I was going to choose that. A shot with your butt on the floor is incredible, especially late in the game, 4 minutes left in the game, and with a defender kind of looming over him for the contest.
Yeah, that's a tough shot.
But
Tough shot.
Your point definitely won it. This man, Scottie Pippen, was Michael Jordan's right-hand man and a big part of those 6 championships that people overlook, along with people like Dennis Rodman. And LeBron's dunking on his son?
Exactly.
19-year age difference? Who's getting up there like that? Vince Carter played into his 40s, but he wasn't really getting up there like that. I'm going to have to go with the King James himself.
Well, LeBron's generational. He's him.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
But that's our NBA plays of the week. Now we're going to move on. So with this next one, we have our college hoop highlights from March Madness. However, for copyright reasons, we cannot show you the clip on the screen. So we will play them from our laptops and do our best to explain what's happening. So, again, we apologize for that, but we'll move on. Sally, you can go first. You can pull it up and explain what you got going on.
So I had to go with DJ Burns Jr.'s NC State game. He dropped 24 points against Oakland with 11 rebounds. I feel like you don't typically see, young talent. This is amazing. Drops 24 points. You could just see him shot after shot.
He's a monster. Look at him.
Big guy. But that's not, he's just so talented, and he is great. And he showed up for this game. Come on.
That.
He knows he's him.
He's actually a big reason why I'm so big on NC State, because that's a monster in the paint.
He's a monster, and he looks
You're
significantly
not moving
bigger
him
than
out
all
of there.
these guys.
He's moving you. You're not moving. He's going to get his position. He's moving you.
He controls the game, and he knows he does. And when you have a player like that, I just think, makes NC State unstoppable. 24 points with 11 rebounds. That's amazing.
What a guy.
Yep, that's...
All right, so I'm also gonna flip to a performance, not just a play. It's gonna be Jack Gohike. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce his name.
It's great.
Who he had a Stephen Curry like performance. Let me pull it up here, and I have it. I can't show you everything because he had 10 threes in this game. 10. He had 32 points, and 30 of them came from behind the line. And I'm pretty sure he either had a layup or 2 free throws. Yeah, he's him. You find him the ball all game, and this is how I was also going to talk about Kentucky. Calipari can bring as much talent as he likes. He can have as many players in the NBA as he puts in there, and he has 1 championship in all his years to show it with the generational Anthony Davis. So, look at that. It's pull-up cash. That's the whole reason they won the game. They couldn't find a way to control... What's it called? They couldn't find a way to control him behind the line, and so that's my performance of the week.
Okay, so in my time being a judge on this show, which is 2 episodes now, this is my hardest thing to judge I've ever had to do. These are both incredible performances. You guys made great choices. You guys made great points. These are the 2 I would call them cult heroes of the tournament. Like, everybody's going to be like, what do you remember from the 2024 tournament? I remember DJ Burns doing it for the big fellas at NC State. I mean, he's both the unstoppable force and the immovable object. And Jack Golke for the Oakland Golden Grizzlies, who showed that there's an Oakland college outside of California. I mean, it showed the country, and he even hit a banked-in three. Was the last highlight you showed me? Like, that's impressive.
I thought Oakland was in California when I checked it, and they went. I'm like,
but
okay.
NC State did beat Oakland.
That is true. I can't argue that. And I'm also a big fan of NC State and DJ Burns. Love that guy. But yeah, who you got?
But so, I am gonna go with Jack Golke only because this man. It's his 6th year playing college basketball. He was playing 5 years of Division II basketball before this year, and he shot 8 two-point shots all season. I mean, that is just incredible. That is just like a crazy story. This guy is going to be probably an accountant in like 4 years, but he gets to tell his grandkids, yeah, I lit up a NBA basketball factory.
You lit up a Kentucky, who was a basketball school. In his one chance in the tournament, yeah, he's him.
Like, I think Burns could possibly move on to the next level due to his moves at his size. So I'm going to go with Jack Golke.
There you go. All right, and now we're going to move on to our best MLB or college play of the week. Obviously, MLB just started, so any of the games we get there are going to be off the beginning. But, Stella, you can go ahead and start here.
So I did go with an MLB game. As a Yankees fan, it was hard for me to not pick Juan Soto's saving throw to preserve the New York Yankees' victory over the Astros yesterday. And the Astros are cheaters, so of course I had to go with the Yankees.
I could have signed that, yeah.
But yeah, I thought this was
throw.
amazing. What a throw! If I've ever seen one, amazing. So yeah, that was my best baseball moment this week.
On a line too, my goodness.
Y'all are just mad that they can't beat the Stros in the playoffs.
We needed this stride to start our season. I feel like this will put us on the right note. A win over the Astros, and let's hope we beat them again.
Oh, that's right, a Yankees fan. Now, she's just mad because the Yankees can't find a way to beat Astros. They can't find a way to beat the Astros in postseason recently.
Yeah, that's because they don't cheat.
I mean, even when the Astros haven't been caught cheating, they still can't win. But we're gonna put our petty differences aside, and we're gonna move on. Now, I stuck with a college play. Blake Wright for Clemson had a grand slam against FSU in order to tie the game. Now, look, they're down 4 points. And it's a grand slam that puts them back in the game. And I'm going to explain to you why this is so pivotal. This is a heck of a game. When I watched all the highlights of it back, they tie the game here. And then they end it with a walk-off. They end it with a walk-off in the bottom of the 9th, I believe. Either bottom or top of the 9th. Yeah, here's the walk-off. That's game. Now, the whole reason I'm going to say this was impressive, in the, I think, 6th or 7th inning, FSU was up 8-1 on Clemson. They hit a 3-run homer, which brings it into 4th. Then they hit a grand slam, and they hit a walk-off. So they defied all the odds, and they came back, but they weren't going to be able to do it without a Blake Wright grand slam, and that's my play of the week.
This is another tough one. I did not know that they were down 8-1. That is seriously impressive. FSU is a pretty good team. And, like, what gets better than a game-tying grand slam? Yeah. I mean, that's what makes baseball great. But you know what also makes baseball great? My favorite baseball player on this earth, Juan Soto, Washington Nationals legend. He brought me so much joy when he was in D.C. Seen him play so many times. Takes a pitch, goes into the Soto shuffle. But everybody sleeps on his defense just because he's one of the best hitters of his generation. And like you said, what a way to give the Yankees some momentum to start the season. Totally. As much as it hurts me to say that, I'd also just like to... Yeah, I'd also just like to say that both of your teams spend money, and so mine doesn't. So very unfortunate. But yeah, I'm gonna have to give the point to Stella here for my favorite player, just doing what he does, making big plays.
If I would have known Juan Soto was his favorite player, I would have known I was gonna lose this from the beginning. But it's fine. That's still a great play. Go Stros. All right, moving on. We're gonna now we're gonna hop into our other sports highlight of the week, NHL, whatever you wanted to come in with. So Stella, again, you can start off with this.
So I went with Zach Hyman's overtime goal to give the Oilers the win over the Winnipeg Jets. I think that when it's two Canadian teams playing each other, as we can see here, there's just always more fire, always more juice. You know, like there's this long rivalry between these Canadian teams, and I think there's just something so exciting about an overtime win that it just feels better, you know, than a game time win. So this was my NHL highlight of the week, and I thought it was amazing to watch.
I wish I could tell you about hockey, but I can't. Now, moving on to a sport I do understand. Now, this viewer expression device, this is a fight. So if you don't like any blood, any type of hard contact, I would look away. It's Sean O'Malley versus Marlon Vera 2. I would say he hit him a brutal knee to the head. Now, right here, look. Look at his head clipped back.
Oh.
Clipped back. And he's still there. Look at this.
He's still up.
I don't know, how do you take that? How do you take, like, this whole fight? So Sean O'Malley, he gave it to him. Sean O'Malley won this fight, obviously.
Okay.
But, I mean, I don't know how you can take that knee and then still be there standing. I mean, anybody, it was all over Twitter. They're watching how did he take the knee and then stay standing. I don't know. It was a heck of a knee, a heck of a fight. O'Malley came with the victory, but that is my other sport highlight of the week. What you got, Ryan?
Interesting. So I'm happy that you guys kind of went off the beaten path. I feel like the UFC and boxing doesn't get enough press. I don't think hockey, one of the best games on this earth, gets enough press.
Totally, I agree.
And it is special when the Canadian teams play. It just means more up there. But so Vera was the one who took the knee to the face.
Yeah.
And how much longer did he last in the fight?
Whole fight. That was mid third round.
That is impressive.
That means there's 5 rounds in a title fight. There was 2 more 5-minute rounds after that. And that was in the middle of that round. So he lasted another, I want to say, like 13 minutes after taking that to face. So, yeah.
And so for that reason, it's got to be Vera. I mean, if that happened at the very end of the 5th round, maybe you say, oh, he's just trying to get to the bell. But
no, that was mid-third round,
I got to give you the point there. That is incredible. And, I mean, just the toughness that some of those guys display every day. Not that hockey players aren't tough. They very much are. They very much are. But to hop in the ring, that takes a lot of courage. And and just to take shots like that, I mean, you know, sometimes you remember the loser because of how tough they are. That's the whole basis of the first Rocky movie. So
yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to give you the point there.
I like that comparison. All right, and we will move on. Also, Vera was O'Malley's one loss. Avenged himself. There we go. All right, moving on to our last part of B Block. It is our worst ref mistake or biggest blooper of the week. Stella, what do you have?
So I went with the Texas Rangers. Even though the Rangers did win the game, the umpire for the Texas Rangers versus the Cubs game called a foul ball and pass ball, allowing the Cubs to take the lead in the 9th inning. We could see here. But ultimately, the Rangers did win, so it was okay. But I thought this was totally a blooper and not a great call.
So they thought it was a foul ball here. Okay, we'll see. So they thought they clipped it. Like right there, he thought he hit it. Oh, he did.
No, he thought he did not hit it, and so he called it a pass ball, and so that's how the guy stole home.
Oh, okay.
Which allowed them to take the lead in the 9th inning, but the Rangers did win. It was okay.
Okay, so yeah, it was a okay, I get that now. Wow, that's a bad miss, but I mean, it didn't no harm, no foul, I guess, because the team still ended up winning.
Yep.
But yeah, that's a big. I mean, you know, umpires they get the biggest. I mean, I grew up with my sister playing softball and everyone yelling at those poor 8, 12 umpires who did nothing wrong. They're just here to grab a paycheck. So those umpires do get the biggest. They get the biggest hate. But I'll move on to. Oh man, this one's something else. So Draymond Green coming off of a suspension in their last game. In the Warriors' last game, Draymond was ejected 4 minutes into the game. 4 minutes into the game. Now, here's the play in question. They're calling a foul here on Wiggins, right? It's 4 minutes in the game. Okay, that's honestly, I don't think that's that big of a deal. But here's Draymond getting in his face. Draymond, he just got his first tech, and he's still arguing. And so he's arguing here. He's not done arguing. He's still yelling at the poor ref who's just trying to do his job.
Steph is like his dad. Like, Steph's trying to tell him to stop. Come on.
And then he's still yelling. Here it is. He's still talking something to the ref.
Steph's reaction to the ejection was pretty.
And then bam, double tech, he's gone.
Yeah.
Double tech, he's gone. 4 minutes. Yeah, he's like, I'm not doing this no more. You're gone. Duck, get out. That 4 minutes in the game. Now it's Draymond Green. He's had a very big problem. And I'm not going to mention his other game. He pulled someone down by their neck.
Crazy.
Draymond, I'm sorry, dog. You got to figure out. You got to figure out what's wrong, bro. You got to. I don't know what's going on with you. It's the fall of the Warriors. Steph can't do it all on his own. But yeah, Draymond coming off a suspension, double ejects. It's 4 minutes in the game. Let it go. But yeah, that's my blooper of the week. Ryan, end us off here with
this is tough. 2 great choices. I thought when I saw Draymond on the prep sheet here, it was going to be the absolutely wild, almost a suplex.
He pulled his he pulled him down by his neck. It was nuts.
And I actually hadn't seen that. And like Draymond, I don't know whether he needs some calmness in his life or just some like zen, because something's wrong. Like, he's a grown man and he's acting like a petulant child at this point, and the Warriors need him to succeed and make the play-in and win the play-in and make any run to keep this dynasty going, even though I think their window is closed.
Yeah, I think it's done.
But you know what? Baseball has an umpiring problem. You got Angel Hernandez still employed by this league. Opening night in prime time on ESPN as the defending champions are raising their World Series banner. Great game, 2-2 going in the ninth inning. And then you have this absolute terrible call where it was clearly a foul tip. Jonah Heim said so. Now, yes, Jonah Heim should have hustled after that ball to make sure that, because you played to the whistle. But, I mean, and very alert base running by the Cubs guy on third, but like this is just ridiculous. And so I'm gonna have to give the point to Stella, because the only reason that didn't matter is because the Rangers' number 7 hitter Janikowski stepped up and hit a solo shot in the bottom of the ninth to force extras, or else that would have completely ruined the Rangers raising their banner. It's ridiculous. It's a farce.
TJ's loving it.
They need automatic umpiring now.
I was ready to throw something on my TV.
Yeah, it's yeah, I mean, it's like I said, umpiring is a problem in baseball.
Yeah.
Huge
We're starting from 8U
upsetting.
8U up to the pros.
Yeah.
But yeah, that will do it for our B block. I did win, by the way, 3-2. Shout out me. Shout out me. But that will be the end of our B block, Ryan. Thank you for joining us. Don't worry, he will be coming back when we do our pick'ems of the round. But don't go anywhere. We're gonna talk about some women's basketball against Gonzaga next, coming up on the 1&0 Sports Show.
Hello, and welcome back to the 1-0 Sports Show, where we are going to be talking about Texas and women's basketball playing against Gonzaga. So our first question here, who do we think is going to score the most points for the Longhorns?
You know, it's hard choice because they both have there's two pretty good scorers in Madison Booker and Aaliyah Moore. So I mean, I got to go with Madison Booker just because she stepped into that role when Rory Harmon went down and it excelled. She's a big reason why this team has been successful. So I mean, she's also the leading scorer. So I can say that she will be a big reason why they will win. I think she will score the most points. Leah Moore has been playing exceptionally well, though. She had 21 the last game. So did Booker. There are two reasons why they got past that Alabama team. And not a close one, but it was a game throughout. So yeah, those are between my two options. But I got to go with Madison Booker just because she has that X factor.
Totally. She's been playing amazing basketball, and my answer is the same. I think Madison Booker is amazing. She averages 16.8 points per game, making her the leading scorer for Texas, and I have all the faith. I think that she will lead the team in game points.
Yeah, I mean, and then, you know, I think, yeah, I mean, she's a freshman, too.
There's some close contenders, but, yeah, she's a freshman. She's been playing amazing basketball. Got to give credit. And then, so Texas is favored to beat Gonzaga by more than 5 points. Do you think that's accurate? More, less? How do you feel?
Gonzaga did win the WCC. They did have 30 wins this year. However, the WCC is a not dominant conference in men's or women's basketball. Men's a little bit bigger, but women's not really. Don't get me wrong, this Gonzaga team is a good team. But UT was, they're a 1 seed. They were second in the Big 12 on a tough loss to Oklahoma in their final game.
Tough loss.
And that's the whole reason they didn't win the Big 12. But they did go on and win the Big 12 tournament, and yeah, I think UT wins by 10+ points, double digits. I think they're the better team. Obviously, Madison Booker, Aaliyah Moore, they can make this. Shaylee Gonzalez, they all make big plays. They all make big differences to this team, and I think that they should have no problem beating this team by more than 5 points.
100%. I think Texas will beat Gonzaga, and especially coming off their 65-54 win over Alabama, I think that they're fired up. I think they want to win this. I think that we'll make the Final Four. I think we're going to win. I think we're going to win it all.
You heard it for her. Stella thinks we're going to win it all, and I got to respect that because this has been a very good team as I've seen out of this UT team, even with them losing one of their X factors, Rory Harmon, earlier in the year. But yeah, I mean, I'm smashing the over in this game if I were to go hit my parlay right now. But yeah, I mean, I think UT should have a comfortable win in this, and then
Totally. And that leads us into our next question. Who do you think will be the X factor for Texas?
Now, I already kind of mentioned Aaliyah Moore because she's had a good postseason run. She had 21 and 11 in their last win. She leads the team in blocks and rebounding. So, I mean, I have no problem with her thinking she can be a big X factor. Obviously, you know what to expect out of Madison Booker, as we've seen all year. If Aaliyah Moore can also give her that extra boost, then I think that this team is pretty unstoppable. And then also Shaylee Gonzalez, she also leads the team. She leads the team in assists, and I actually think she leads the team in steals too. So I mean, she also can sneakily put up 12+, 15+ points each game. I think she had 16 in the first round and then 12 last round. In the last round. So I think those are the two girls. I think if you kind of put her alongside Madison Booker, kind of a big three I can see happening there. They are big reasons why this team can win if they are successful. I think Texas is pretty close to unstoppable, but it is women's basketball, and the most dominant teams come from the most dominant players. So when they get into those tough matchups against the other number 1 seeds, it could be hard, but like you said, I do have faith in Texas at least making the Final Four this year. Who do you got as your X factor?
100%. So I actually took a different route. I went with Shea Holly. I think that if she can get a couple of threes, that's all we need to really break away from Gonzaga and take the W. So I think that UT will win, and I think that if we can just get Shea Holly, a couple of threes, maybe like 4 or 5 threes, I think
I would love any player that gives you 4 or 5 threes a game. I would love that for anybody. But yeah, I like that choice there. Shea Holly, she's also really scrappy on defense. She will sit
and those are the players that make the game annoying for the other team.
Yeah, if she can be a consistent 3 and D, then that can go a long way. I mean, if she has a successful game, she has to knock down her open shots though. She struggled a little bit in these first couple rounds and ending the season, but I think like you said, she knocks down a couple of her open shots. and she keeps up the pressure on defense, then yeah, this team can go a long way, and I like that choice right there. But yeah, that is our X factors. And so that's all we have for our women block. Again, I think, like you were kind of saying, you know, I think they can make a push. This is a very talented team, but you know they're gonna eventually run into those South Carolinas. They're gonna run into Iowa,
Don't
and
manifest that.
that's when it's gonna get tough. But this, like,
We will pull
kind of like
through.
what we said, if they can find, if these X factors can make a difference, if the Madison Book can keep up the pressure, Aaliyah Moore, Shaylee Gonzalez, Shea Holly make differences. As long as they keep winning, they have a shot. I mean, it's going to be tough. Don't get me wrong, but they're a 1 seed for a reason. This team has dominated all year. Yeah, but
100%.
that's all we got for our C block of women's basketball. But our next block don't go anywhere. We're going to bring up, and we're going to go into the men's side. And we're going to talk about some men's March Madness. All that and more coming up on the 1 0 Sports Show. Good morning and welcome back to the 1 0 Sports Show. We are going to hop into our men's side of this March Madness during, the madness of March, obviously. And we are going to start off with who we think, we're going to talk about who our exciting matchups, we'll hop into our Final Four predictions, everything like that. So we'll start off with our most exciting matchup today. There was great games last night, but who do you have as your favorite matchup to see tonight?
So my favorite matchup tonight is NC State versus Marquette.
Great pick.
I think NC State has continuously defied the odds, and they've been playing great basketball. With DJ Burns Jr., they are continuously outscoring opponents, and I believe that coming off their win, they will be fired up for this game against Marquette. So that is my most exciting matchup for tonight. Cannot wait to watch that.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. I'm a big fan of these NC State boys, and it's just like DJ Burns, like you said earlier. That's the whole reason I'm in love with this team, because he just sits. He's a dominant player in the paint, and they're so exciting to watch. Not to mention, like I kind of touched on it earlier. They've won 7 in a row. They won 5 to make it into the tournament in the ACC tournament. They won those 5 games. They got a bid into this tournament, and they've made the most out of it.
They really have.
The biggest thing you can say about March is who can get hot at the right time, and this team is definitely hot at the right time. And Marquette on the other end, Shaka Smart did used to be our coach, but he has there's obviously shines of struggle you can see when it comes to madness. When it comes to March Madness, except for those times when he took VCU to the Final Four all those years back. I mean, his time at Texas wasn't the greatest when it came to postseason.
Definitely not.
And Marquette, I mean, they've struggled this year, And, you know, I think NC State, like I kind of gave you the reason. NC State, I just like that team. They're my pick to win it all. So I gotta rock with NC State all the way.
I think they're super fired up. I think they want this dub against Marquette. And I don't really see that same fire in Marquette that I see in NC State.
Oh, yeah. I mean, NC State's playing. Well, NC State, they've had their back against the wall since the beginning of March because they've had to win games. And when you're back against the wall, you got nothing to lose, and you're going to go out there and fire. Marquette, they've been comfortable all year, and they obviously knew they were going to make tournament when they were a 2 seed. So I mean, they made Sweet 16. It's going to be a tough. Don't get me wrong. It's not going to be a blowout. It's going to be a tough game. But I got NC State coming out on top of that. Moving on, we're going to talk about. So we make our segments earlier in the week. So we talk about who the first seed will fall. Obviously, North Carolina was that first seed to fall last night. So we'll kind of flip and say out of the remaining 3 number 1 seeds, who do you think will fall first? What do you got?
So, unfortunately, I'm going to have to go with Houston, just because Purdue and UConn have been outscoring opponents and dominating each round, and I just don't see that same motivation and fire from Houston. I think that they've been playing great basketball, but I think that they're going to choke in this game, and I think that they will be the next 1 seed to fall out of the tournament, unfortunately.
Yeah, I agree with you there. It's because UConn is a favorite to win it all, and Purdue, even though Purdue in recent years have been very lackluster when it comes to the tournament with all the talent they have turned around and been pretty successful in this tournament. Houston, though, I usually like to say Houston's going to be a first-round exit and a second-round exit just because of the conference they used to play in. But now they moved to the Big 12. They dominated the Big 12, I'm not going to lie. And they secured that 1 seed. I have more faith in Houston because they understand those long games. But I look at their matchup against Duke. I like Duke more in that game. Houston didn't impress me in that close win over A&M in overtime.
Too close for comfort.
It was just their defense did not impress me at all. So when they went against strong talent there, they underperformed, and that's a big reason why I think Houston will indeed be the next team to drop. Also just because UConn and Purdue have been dominant, and I like their matchups more than I like Houston's matchup.
I think Houston is burning out where Purdue and UConn are just getting started. Like, they are ready. Like, they want it more than Houston.
Oh, no, UConn, I mean, they've been favorites since the beginning of the year. I mean, that team, they won it all. They won it all last year. They're very consistent. They play good team ball. They're a hard team to beat. And then, so we'll move on, and I'll talk more about UConn and Purdue coming up in this next segment because we're going to bring up our Final Four, and I have both those teams in there. But who is your Final Four?
So my Final Four is UConn, Purdue, Duke, and this one's a little, controversial, but I took Creighton. I think that even though they're kind of an underdog, like, going into this, I think they've been playing great, and I think that they have something to prove. And when a team has something to prove, I think that just, like, drives the energy. Like, you got to hope the coach is getting them fired up in that locker room. And, yeah, I think that these 4 teams have been playing consistent, amazing basketball, and they're all fired up. They all are outscoring opponents. And, yeah, those are my Final Four.
I like that Final Four. I agree with 2 of your picks there because I also have 2 of those picks. I have some pretty obvious picks in UConn and Purdue. My reasoning with UConn is because they are the number 1 overall seed. They've been dominant all year. They're the favorite to win it all. And then I have Purdue. I'm usually not sold on Purdue, but they have 6 players shooting over 40%, with 3 of those players shooting over 50% from behind the line. And in today's day and age, the 3-ball will win you championships along with defense. And their 3-ball's been pretty impressive, along with Zach Edey being 7'5" in the paint. So there's where your defense comes from in a paint presence. And those are the whole reasons I have UConn and Purdue. And then I have 2 picks that people are going to argue against. I have Clemson and I have NC State. Okay. Now, Clemson they've impressed me. I mean, I chose Clemson before their big win yesterday. And Clemson, they're playing good basketball. I mean, P.J. Hall has been pretty impressive all year. He has 20 points a game. He also leads the team in steals and blocks. So there's your paint presence right there that can match up well against Purdue if it comes to that time. And then I also like the fact that they also have multiple players shooting over 40% from behind the line, 2 shooting over 50. I'm very big on 3-ball percentage because 3-balls they will win you games. You have consistent 3-balls, you can win a game. And then, like I've been saying this entire show, them NC State boys are here to play. They are not messing around.
I see that. I would maybe change mine around.
I'm turning heads.
That's an influence. NC State's been playing great.
NC State, that they just have all the momentum in the world right now, and I love that team. I think it might be a long shot saying they're going to win it all, and I don't think it's a long shot for them making it into the Final Four. I've been big on this team since their big. Obviously, been talking about the whole show since their big run towards the end of March right now. So yeah, those are my 4 teams that I think will win it all. Also, because you can't just pick the higher seed and the team that statistically is better because it's March. You never know what's going to happen in
That's
March.
not how it works.
Obviously,
It's
if
true.
you look at what the bracket is right now. So you got to pick off a team that you just feel like in your heart, because that's just what you got to go with sometimes. You got to go off of vibes. You got to go off what you're seeing, what you're feeling, the eye test. And you just got to pick, because you never know. You never know with March. That's the best thing about
Oakland's
the
win over Kentucky, you
Oakland's
know?
win over
It
Kentucky.
happens.
Exactly.
Look at that.
It's just you never know. Like no one has that. Brackets were almost 99% of brackets were busted in that first day. So obviously,
Bijan Robinson.
It did
He
Bijan Robinson.
was perfect for a minute.
He was perfect for a minute.
For a
I have to
minute.
agree with that.
Pretty impressive.
And it's just that's how March Madness works, and that's why we love it.
Yep.
So those are my Final Four teams. That's our take on March Madness. Honestly, now even though it's not a question, who do you think wins it all?
You know, obviously, UConn is like the easy answer here. This is a little bit crazy, but I kind of could see Creighton winning it all. I don't know
Creighton?
why. A little crazy.
I like that take though.
It's a
Keep
little
going.
crazy, but I honestly just like as you were just saying, like your gut, you got to go the eye test, what you see. I feel like it's going to be an underdog this year. I don't know why, but that's I could totally see them winning it all.
Yeah,
What about you?
I gotta agree. You got UConn is an obvious choice of that team.
Of course.
That's a great basketball team. Purdue's actually impressed me in their. I mean, they haven't really played the best competition. They're getting into their harder games now, but like I kind of gave you with the stats, everything. I like Purdue's chances. Clemson is a team I didn't really notice till I looked them up yesterday, and that team's also impressed me. But I don't care. Like I've been saying it all season, give me them NC State boys. We're going all
Fair.
the way. We're winning it all. I'm calling it here. If it happens, someone owes me like $5. It doesn't have to be anybody. I'm just calling it now. Those are my picks right now. But yeah, that is our March Madness D block action that we have coming up for the men's bracket. But don't go anywhere. When we come back, Ryan is going to rejoin us, and we're going to go through our pick'ems of the week of NBA and college hoops, and we even throw in a little softball in there. Who knows? Either way, you don't want to miss it. Coming up on the One and No Sports Show. Good morning and welcome back to our final segment and some of our favorites, our pick'ems. So we're going to talk about our games of the weekend today, obviously all the games tonight, and we're going to give us our reasons of why we think we're going to win and who is going to win. So we'll start off with some March Madness. We have NC State, the NC State boys, versus Marquette tonight at 6. Who do you have winning it? Let's go. We can start with Stella.
I went with NC State. I just think they're better. I think Marquette is losing their fire.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, NC State.
So I'm going to have to go with Marquette, which is, I know that the momentum is with them NC State boys. I've loved watching DJ Burns play. I think that, give some advice to everybody out there, I think the 6.5, you should take that with NC State. But Marquette, the better basketball team with the better coach, wins in a nail-biter to end NC State's Cinderella story.
I to agree. Marquette has, on paper, the better team. They have, on paper, the better coach. But at the end of the night, at the end of the day, you don't play on paper. Your coach doesn't play the game for you. It's about what players step out there. And NC State, I've been saying it this whole time, and I'm gonna keep saying it every time they pop up on the screen. I hope gladly for y'all, this is the last time I gotta talk about NC State. But I have NC State winning it all, so I have NC State winning this game. So let's go with them NC State boys for the last time today. NC State, I'll complete the sweep. Moving on. We're going to talk about our. We have Purdue and Gonzaga matchup tonight at 6:30. I'm going to go with Purdue. I have to agree. Gonzaga is, but these are two teams that tend to underperform in March with great seasons going into it. But Gonzaga, they've been impressive this year. They're not the number 1 seed, they're the top 3 seed. They're a 5 seed. They kind of they snuck into that final top 25 rankings. They didn't finish. They finished second in the WCC behind St. Mary's, and honestly, I don't hate the Gonzaga pick, but I gotta go Purdue just because I like their 3-point shooting percentages, and I know I just kind of went against all stats, but I like the stats on that. I gotta go with Purdue. Ryan, what you got?
The thing is, the key to Purdue's success has been they've been playing small teams that cannot match up with Zach Edey. So then 2 guys come to double Zach Edey in the post, and then he kicks it out to a shooter who's wide open.
There we go.
That's not going to happen against Gonzaga. Gonzaga has the size to match up. Gonzaga is a very good basketball team. Yes, they finished second in their conference, but that's because St. Mary's was a very good basketball team this year and got upset in the tournament. I'm all over Gonzaga plus the points. I think Gonzaga is going to win the game. Purdue has disappointed the past few years, and they will not let everybody down. They will disappoint yet again.
All right, and we'll finish off with Stella.
So, Ryan, totally valid points with Gonzaga. I just think that Purdue will get the job done. I think that, they're a 1 seed, Gonzaga's a 5 seed. I think that Purdue was a little more consistent with their 3-point shots. So I think that they will get the dub against Gonzaga, but valid points, and I see your stance. 2 great teams.
I like this.
All right, now moving on, we have Duke versus Houston. Ryan, you can go ahead and start us off here.
So I'm going to go with still my national champion, still in the tournament, the Houston Cougars. They are a buzzsaw. Offense wins games, defense wins championships. Houston, by every defensive metric, is the best defensive team in the country. Defense also travels when the Final Four goes to wherever it's going this year. Duke's good, but if Houston shuts down Jeremy Roach, who's from the D.C. area, by the way, shout out, and Cal Flopowski, it's going to be wraps for Duke. They don't have Coach K anymore. I'm all over the Cougars, and I'll swallow the points as well.
All right, Stella, what you got?
So as I've been saying the whole show, I do think Houston is just losing their fire, and they're starting to not look as consistent. They barely won their last game. I think Duke will win, and they'll probably break away early in the second half. We'll see them just kind of start to consistently shoot, and yeah, Houston will not be able to keep up.
I have to agree with Stella there. I do like Duke more. Obviously, I do agree with the Jeremy Roach take that you think Jeremy Roach will kind of burn out here and he won't be as big as factor. I do say he still will be a big factor, but I also like Caleb Foster. I mean, he leads the team in 3-point percentage. I've been talking about all the show. I do love 3-point percentages. 3 points win you basketball games. But yeah, I like Duke over Houston just because Houston also they had a great year. They played in the toughest conference in America and they won it. So I do like Houston, but I do have Houston running out because, like you've been saying, Houston will, like you were saying, Gonzaga and Purdue's going to Purdue, Houston's going to Houston. So I got Duke. Moving on to our last game of the NCAA tournament tonight, we have Tennessee versus Creighton tonight at 9 on TBS. I got to go with Creighton strictly because Tennessee, I've watched the last couple games. I mean, the last game they beat UT by 4 points. And that's not impressive in my opinion. UT's been very struggled. They've struggled a lot. They've struggled a lot this year. They're very inconsistent. And so that game didn't sell me. This Tennessee team also lost to Mississippi State by 20+ in their final game of the SEC tournament. So they've kind of slowed down. They're going to run into an actual good team here, and I think that's where they burn out. So that's the whole reason I go with Creighton, because I'm against Tennessee. Brian?
That's kind of how I feel, but I'm also very pro-Creighton. You talked about shooting the three. They do it some of the best in the country.
Yeah.
They came from a pretty tough conference that I think the selection committee didn't value when they were giving out tournament bids with the likes of St. John's and Seton Hall missing out on the bubble. Creighton did very well this year. They are the only team to take UConn to the woodshed this year, as they did in January, blew them out of the water. Creighton is in my Final Four for a reason. They're a very good basketball team. And if Tennessee shoots anything like they did against Texas, or if Dalton Knecht is inefficient, they could get blown out by Creighton. I think this could get lopsided quickly. I don't know why Tennessee's a favorite. I'm all over Creighton tonight.
Stella?
I took Creighton as well. What I noticed when watching Tennessee play against Texas is that it takes them a little while to find their momentum and start consistently shooting. And lucky for them, Texas was not able to keep up. But a team like Creighton will jump all over that and quickly break away and Creighton will win. So.
And now that we've all said Creighton, I feel like Tennessee's gonna win now. But let's just we're sticking with our picks, and we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on to NCAA women's. We have Texas versus Gonzaga. What we were talking about earlier in the show. What do y'all got? We'll start with Stella.
So I took Texas, as I've been saying earlier. I think Texas has dominated their past couple games. They played against Drexel and Alabama, and I think that they're coming off a high right now. I think they're going to want to win this next game. I think that Texas will win.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. I think UT have been dominant all year, and I think it will come down to X Factor. And I loved Stella's X Factor and Shea Holley. I think that she is actually a really big difference maker, because you know what to expect of Aaliyah Moore, Celia Gonzalez, and Madison Booker. But then when you have players that give you those 10 to 12 points a game, sometimes they don't. But when they do give you those 10 to 12 points a game, they're a big difference maker. So I like Texas in this game too. And Ryan finishes off.
Well, and like you said, it's this game is going to be about the supporting cast, in my opinion, because we all know about Madison Booker, superstar freshman. She's a forward. Gonzaga has a superstar forward. I'm so sorry, I forgot her first name, but her last name is Ejim, if I pronounce that right. She is actually averaging more points than Madison Booker. She's averaging 20, 21 a game this season, and she's a bucket. So I think she'll get her buckets, Madison Booker get her buckets. It's going to be about those kick-out threes, those supporting casts. So look for a big game from Aaliyah Moore down the post, Shea and Shaylee shooting threes, Holly and Gonzalez. I got the Horns by 10 to 15 points. I think the supporting cast will step up. I think they'll play good defense. And Vic Schaefer's got them playing well at the right time. So I got Texas.
I had to agree, obviously, a sweep there. Obviously, that does scare me when you sweep. Some bad things can tend to happen, but I don't think that will happen this time. We will move on to our one softball pick of the week. We'll have softball going out there. We have number 2 Texas in Stillwater against Oklahoma State tonight at 7 o'clock on ESPN2. Ryan, who you got?
Purely because this Texas softball team is 28-4, and they have proven to bounce back after their losses. They lost 5-0 in Stillwater last night. I'll take the Horns to get it done tonight.
I have to agree with you there. Texas, they've also played some stiff competition this year. I'm very excited for when they do end up playing Oklahoma later in the year, because that's the 1 versus 2. Obviously, you can't forget about Oklahoma, dynasty over there. But UT's been that team that's kind of pushed. They're pushing against them this year. So, yeah, I do like Texas in this one. Stella, end us off.
And a sweep again. I have to go with Texas as well. 28-4 record. I think we've been playing great, and I think that we'll win.
All right, and then now we will move on to, since opening night was last night, we're going to move on to some MLB picks here. This is where things might get a little tense, because we have the Yankees at the Astros. The Yankees did win last night, and that is a big reason why I think the Stros are going to win this night. Baseball is a game. It's just you can just argue that it's teams winning back-to-back nights is tough. The Yankees have a great team. Astros have a great team. These are 2 teams I think will make noise this year, but I'm an Astros fan, so give me the Stros. Ryan?
Well, I'm going to let Stella go first, because obviously you know who a Stros fan and a Yankees fan are picking, and that'll be the deciding vote.
Okay, so yeah, go ahead.
Well, yep, of course I went Yankees all the way. I think that coming off the win last night against, yes, I know you said it's hard to win 2 back-to-back games, but the Yankees are a special team. I think that they will take this fire, come into this next game. They have something to prove. They're going to want to win again. and I think that we will get the job done and ultimately beat the Astros because they are cheaters. So.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
The third allegation there. All right, Ryan, go ahead and end us off.
I can do a fourth.
And to moderate the debate between the evil empire and the cheaters, I will have to decide. I will have to go with the dishonest Houston Astros purely because
Dishonest, I like that.
Purely because Carlos Rodon is on the hill for the Yankees, and he had a very, very rough season after signing, I believe, a 6 or 7 year monster contract last offseason. And I get it. He was coming off an injury. I want to say he was coming off a Tommy John, so he could have a bounce-back season. Before last season, he was a very good pitcher. But I just don't think he'll have his stuff tonight. Houston at home, they'll get their first home win of the season.
Yeah, and it was 7 years ago, guys. Get over it. It already happened. It's what it is. We're gonna move on though.
Cheaters.
And we're gonna hop into some of our NBA picks tonight. We have the Clippers at the Magic. I have to go with the Clips, yes, because when this team is completely healthy, they're one of the scariest teams in the NBA. When you have Kawhi and Paul George there at the same time, you have James Harden, you have Russell Westbrook, he struggled against on my Lakers, obviously, and then he moves to the next team in LA, and they start to dominate. This is a team that did win almost 20 games in a row earlier in the year when they got healthy, when they caught fire. So I got to go with the Clippers here.
So I, too, will go with the Clippers. We're getting near playoff time, and this is late in the year. That is when veteran experience makes a difference, and where young teams, such as the Magic, typically tend to crumble. I understand this isn't a playoff game, but I like the Clippers to go in and win in Orlando tonight. The Magic have lost 2 straight. I think they'll make it 3. I got the Clips.
I do think Kawhi Leonard's a great player, but I'm going to have to go with the Magic just because of the home advantage. I don't know. I think that will maybe factor into this game.
The Magic have had a great year, though. Don't sleep on the Magic. Keep going.
They have had a great year with the record of 42 to 30 overall. I think that they'll win. You know, it might be a close game, but I do think that the home advantage will help them significantly in this game.
Yeah, you can't sleep on the Magic just because. I mean, last year they won what, 12 games, 11 games, something like that. They flipped that around to a 40, like a 40 win season.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty impressive.
Talk about a turnaround.
So I mean,
They won 12 games.
I don't know. I just know they were not very good last year.
Yeah,
I can't
they
give
were
you the exact
bad.
thing. That's my argument there. But I do like her pick on the Magic, and we'll move on to the Suns at the Thunder. Ryan, go ahead and start us off here.
So the Suns, they're an enigma of a team, great offensive team. They can't guard a lamppost, though. Having said that, I'm going to go with the Suns just because Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, MVP candidate, the straw that stirs the drink for the Thunder, is a game-time decision tonight. So if he's a game-time decision tonight in a key Western Conference matchup, that means he isn't 100%. I will rock with the Suns.
Stella?
So I had to go with Oak City just because the Suns' big three, Beal, Kevin Durant, and Devin Booker, they've consistently been injured and not playing together. So I think that with the three of them, like, not all in it, 100%, I just think that they can't show up for the Suns like the way that they should. So, yeah. I had to go with Oak City.
The Suns have been pretty disappointing this year, in my opinion. I mean, but that's been recently because Kevin Durant's been on a bunch of big threes recently, and that the whole reason they have not succeeded is because they've had various injury problems. And I'm pretty sure Beal is out tonight, so obviously injury problems are making an effect there. And I was just the Suns recently. I flipped to OKC just because I'm thinking about it now. The Thunder are they remind me of the 2015 Hawks. They are a regular season team. They will have a dominant regular season, but their inexperienced playoff time will hurt them going forward. And I do think that if Shai does play tonight, they do find a way to win games, especially because they are in Oklahoma City. So I got to go with Thunder there. And then moving on to our final pick of the night, we have the Timberwolves at the Nuggets. Now I'm gonna let Ryan go first because he has some insight that I didn't know coming into today that might make you want to sway different decisions. Ryan, go ahead.
Well, honestly, it might make you not want to watch the game because here's your injury report for the game. Anthony Edwards, game-time decision. Rudy Gobert, game-time decision. Jokic, game-time decision. Jamal Murray, game-time decision. So this is up to the bench. This is up to the crowd. This is up to, somebody having a random 20-point game that you didn't expect. I don't know who to pick. I'll go with the Nuggets because they're at home floor. They're used to the altitude, which is a bigger factor than you may think because of the cardio involved to play basketball. I'll take the Nuggets, but really, the real loser tonight is basketball fans if all these guys are out.
Yeah, Stella?
Totally. I took the Nuggets to win just because home advantage, you know.
Altitude,
Yeah. And I think they've been playing great this whole season. This should be an easy game for them.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I gotta agree with the sweep there with the Nuggets. Even if Jokic and Murray don't play, and I mean, if Jokic and Murray don't play, all those players don't play, the Nuggets are a much deeper team. Now, it could be interesting if Ant and Gobert play and Jokic and Murray don't play. Now, that's when things could get tricky. But I think the Nuggets are the Lakers' kryptonite, but we're gonna get over that. I'm not gonna talk about that. And we are gonna. I mean, they're the best team in basketball for a reason. They have who should have won back-to-back MVPs. Jokic, who should win the MVP this year. That man is incredible. But yeah, I gotta go and finish off with the Nuggets here. And that will do it for our show this morning. Thank you for joining us, and shout out TJ in the production
Yes,
crew.
sir.
Shout out Samantha.
Shout out
tuning in.
Samantha in the back.
She always holds it down for us. And don't forget to miss us next week at 10 a.m. and check out our sister shows, College Crossfire, Wednesday at 9:30 a.m. and Pressbox at 9 p.m. on Mondays. You're not going to want to miss it. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us this morning, and have a great day.